Some breaking news coming into CBS Sports HQ where Jared Curtis, one of the top quarterbacks in the class of 2026, is flipping his commitment from Georgia to Vanderbilt. So that's the latest from our partners over at 24/7 Sports. With signing day just 1 day away, Curtis is considered the #3 overall prospect in the class and will be the highest ranked recruit to sign with the Commodores. All right, let's welcome in our recruiting analysts, Tom Loy and Blair Angulo, here to break it all down, because we don't often hear about top recruits flipping from Georgia to Vandy. So, Tom, I'll come to you first. Tell us more about how all of this went down.
Well, the best player in Nashville. I'm here at the Nashville airport, ready to head your guys' way in Fort Lauderdale. But the best player in Nashville is headed to Vanderbilt. He's staying home. This was a huge win for Vanderbilt. Over the last couple of weeks, I even said 2 weeks ago that I'm very confident that Vanderbilt gets this one done, and that's exactly how it played out. I was even told this was done prior to that, weeks in advance, that he had his mind made up and he wanted to be a Commodore. Look, behind the scenes, head coach Clark Lee getting that new contract buttoned up, that was the difference maker in this one. But behind the scenes, a lot of this revolved around Diego Pavia leaving and the opportunity for Jared Curtis to become QB1 upon arrival. Look, it's a strong quarterback room in Vanderbilt. No one's more talented than Jared Curtis. He's going to be the guy day one when he steps on campus there at Vanderbilt. But big picture, massive, massive win. Behind the scenes, they did all the right things. The financials, there's a lot of things that I probably can't share yet, but they financially did all the right things. And he is going to be a well-compensated 18-year-old kid. So really good job. But again, Clark Lee, Diego Pavia, they were really the needle movers on this one.
Tom, we love that you're giving us the latest information literally from the airport as you are heading our way. That is dedication, my friend. You kind of mentioned it already, Vandy. It's been a huge year for this program. We were talking about them in terms of the CFP, and that's not something that happens really ever to my memory, right? So, Blair, what does this say about Clark Lee and then the direction that this Vanderbilt program is going?
I think it shows that trajectory matters, and it shows that this program is going to be a platform for a quarterback like Jared Curtis, right? Where in years past, 5-star players are going to all the blue blood schools. Yep. They're going to the Georgias, they're going to the Ohio States and the Alabamas. You don't have to do that now in the NIL era. You can go and play at a program like Vanderbilt, which is on the up and up, has continued to show that it's going to compete at a high level, and you go and showcase yourself. We saw it with Diego Pavia, just how viral he's been, the platform and the stage that he's been able to kind of capitalize on coming from New Mexico. Jared Curtis being a local 5-star prospect from Nashville, I think from a branding standpoint, this is an out-of-the-park situation for Jared Curtis.
Yeah, it's a pretty special group right now there at Vanderbilt, and it all obviously revolves around Diego Pavia, who genuinely might be the best player in college football. Honestly, he would get my vote at this point, but he's done such a great job there. But everybody on staff there, head coach Clark Lee, general manager Barton Simmons, director of recruiting Nick Baldessari, these guys are pushing all the right buttons. They are recruiting the right kind of guys. And again, they are moving the needle in a big, big way. This is not going to slow down. I am extremely high on Jared Curtis. I think he genuinely might be the best overall player in the 2026 class. He's going to be a guy that steps on campus right away and continues the upward trend for Vanderbilt. This is not going to be slowing down anytime soon.
And in terms of Georgia and that side of things, it looks like they're going to fall from the #2 to #3 in those team rankings. The expectations, all of it is very, very high for Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. So, Tom, is this cause for concern for Georgia if we're starting to see a little bit of a slip, even if it is ever so slight in those team rankings for them?
It's not something they need to be concerned about. I think big picture, there needs to be some concern about the fact that this has now happened twice. They were once set to land Dylan Raiola, and then he backed out essentially at the last second, flipped to Nebraska, and we are seeing the exact same situation. So the writing was on the wall, but behind the scenes, Jared Curtis was telling them all the right things, and they just, I guess you could say they weren't listening to the right people, because this was a case where Jared was telling everybody at Vanderbilt the right thing. I was told he made a silent commitment to them weeks ago Where with Georgia, again, all of those Georgia insiders, they're reporting the same thing. Jared's solid, because that's exactly what Georgia staff felt and were told. So again, I think bigger picture, this is something that's going to cause a big bloat, and it's going to be something that they're not thrilled about because it's happened twice. But Georgia's fine. They're gonna find a good guy. They'll find somebody in the portal, maybe even somebody in the next couple of days. But I just think that seeing this happen twice, the fans are not going to be happy.
I want to look at this through two lenses. I think in the 2027 class, it becomes even more important for Georgia to land a blue chipper and to land someone that was going to potentially fill Jared Curtis's shoes in that group. And then the other lens is now this essentially solidifies that USC will sign the #1 class on signing day. That had been kind of a big battle. Yeah. We were curious about whether or not Jared Curtis would stick and whether or not there would be some attrition or there would be some movement at the top. But now with Curtis flipping to Vanderbilt on the eve of signing day, it's pretty much a done deal that the USC Trojans will return to the top of the recruiting charts. They haven't done that in well over a decade. 19 prospects, over 30 commitments in this class. And, I think it kind of speaks volumes to what USC did in this cycle, and now it's solidified.
I was going to say, it's been a hot minute since we were talking about USC as having a top recruiting class, and to your point, over a decade. So is USC back? I don't know. We'll see what happens. Tom, Blair, we certainly appreciate it joining us for this breaking news here where, of course, Jared Curtis, one of the top QBs in the class of 2026, has flipped from Georgia to Vandy. Tom, Blair, all of our guys at 24/7 Sports, they are the very best at what they do when it comes to recruiting rankings, guys flipping, which is happening more and more often, transfer portal updates. Make sure you check them out at 247sports.com.